Annexure C shows a summary of the monthly gross salary, total deductions, and net salary of the teachers at a school. Use Annexure C to answer the questions that follow. 4.2.1. Arrange the gross monthly salaries for post level 1 in ascending order of value. Okay, so on the right hand side here, you'll notice that we have the annexure, which they're speaking of, and it has the salaries. So there's just two things we need to focus on this question. Firstly, we need to look at only the post level 1, right? And secondly, we need to look at arranging those amounts in ascending order. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So these are the post level ones. So only those values, the gross salary, remember we're only looking at the gross salary, right? We're going to take that column there and look at only the post level ones and arrange them in ascending order. So let's arrange them. So firstly, we start off with 19,095. Thereafter, we can see that 21,908 would be the next highest number. But you notice there's 3 of those numbers. And make sure you put all 3 that appear, because those are all different numbers in terms of arranging them from highest to lowest. So you must show all. The next highest number will be the 22,126. So all I'm doing is looking at the post level 1 and finding the lowest numbers and going to the highest. Next, higher than that will be the 24,133. Higher than that will be 26,904. Higher than that will be 28,000. I think it's 28,208. 28,208. Higher than that will be 28,477, and we can see that this number is repeated again, so we have to show it the second time. And lastly, we have 39,992. A good double check is to see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 circles on the red circles that I've indicated. So there must be 11 numbers that appear at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we have made sure we checked that we didn't miss out any numbers. 4.2.2, write down the modal gross monthly salary. So when we wrote down from highest to lowest, remember we were looking at the gross salary column, but now they want us to write the modal, but in this instance we need to take all the amounts into consideration, all the amounts. So looking at all the amounts, we need to look at the modal number. The modal number comes from the word mode, and we know that mode, right, remember they used the term modal sometime in the examination. Basically we're speaking about mode. It's a number that appears the most often, and if you look at those numbers there, the number that appears most often, and we mentioned it was 3 times, was the 21,908. 4.2.3, the starting annual gross salary excluding bonuses of a fully qualified teacher is 262,896. Ubuntu stated that this school has all fully qualified teachers. Verify showing all calculations whether a statement is valid. So she says that the school has all qualified teachers. Now remember, qualified teachers will earn a certain annual amount, which they told us is 262,896. Now in order for us to see if she is right. Remember, what's presented before us on the annexure is our monthly salaries, but the question has given us an annual salary. So all we just need to do is divide by 12. So we take the annual amount which they spoke of in the question, right, which is 262,896, and what we will do is we'll divide this by 12, and then we'll get a monthly amount. Now the monthly amount is 21,908. So this means that a person, for them to be qualified, they would earn an amount of 21,908. But concerning this school year, which is presented to us in annexure C, we see that there is one educated that is earning about 19,000 some change. So therefore, Nabuntu's statement is invalid. Nabuntu's statement is invalid because she has mentioned that there is only qualified teachers at the school. And the reason would be there is one underqualified teacher. Determine in simplified fractional form the probability of randomly selecting a teacher with deductions less than the mean total deductions. Okay, so there are a couple of things that we need to do. We need to present our answer as a simplified fraction. Remember that. They're asking for probability in this question, and also the probability is looking towards selecting a teacher with deductions less than the mean total deduction. So in order for us to determine this, we need to first find out the mean. So what we need to do is look at the deductions column, right? We need to find the mean. Now how do you find the mean? Is you add up all these amounts and you divide by the number of numbers there. In this case, there would be from A to I think it's from A to R, but it's not alphabetical order in the sense of there are some letters missing. So counting them through, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there are 15, right, numbers which will be shown. So we need to take the deductions, add them up, and divide by the number of numbers, which is 15. So let's add this. Once we add these numbers up, so taking our calculator, you will add up those amounts there. You will arrive at an amount of, by adding up all those amounts. If you want to, it's good practice for you to show the addition in your exams, but for time wise, just remember we will add up all the deductions, and when we add it up, we arrive at an amount of 163,000, sorry, 779. Okay, so adding up all those total deductions amount should give you that there. And remember, we will divide by 15 because that's the amount of numbers we have, and that would give us an amount of 10,918 and 60 cents. So now that we have this mean deduction amount, remember, don't round off your amount, always keep it in its decimal form, and we're going to consider this amount now against all the total deductions amounts and see who is less than this 10,918. So let's look at that. Okay, so firstly we see that we have the first person, right? Just look at it. First person there, that's 1. Then there's 2 here, it's 3, there's 4 here because this here is, remember, it's 10,900. There's 5 here, there's 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, so there are 10 people, that are lower than the mean deduction. So we will say probability now 10 over how many numbers there are? 15 numbers. Now remember simplified form. So this would actually be 5 goes into 10 2 times and 5 goes into 15 3 times, and that's your answer. 4.2.5, the arranged net salaries are as follows. Okay, A, determine the interquartile range IQR of the net salaries. Okay, so by looking at the way these numbers are arranged, you can clearly see it's from lowest to highest. Okay, if you go from the top row left to right, you'll see it's lowest to highest and so on, right all the way to the 54,881. Okay, so now that it's arranged from highest to lowest, remember your IQR, your interquartile range, is equal to your Q3, which is your upper quartile, minus your Q1, which is your lower quartile. So in order for us to know this here, the first thing we need to do is we need to determine our median. So the median is the middle number, right? So let's look at our numbers here and we find that there are 15 numbers here. So 15 numbers, our 8th number will be the middle number. So you'll have 7 on the side and 7 on the side, right? So let's count our 8th number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's our 8th number here. So remember, this is Q2. Right? It's also known as the median or Q2. Okay, so now that we got our median, now that we found our median, we can find our upper quartile and lower quartile, which is Q3 and Q1. So let's work out. Now if you look at the upper quartile, which is the higher numbers, you'll find that there are 7 there. So that means there should be 3 on either side and 1 in the center. So it's 1, 2, 3, and this will be our Q3, which is our upper quartile. If you look at the lower one, now remember we're not including the median 2, or should I say the quartile 2 number. So we're looking at 1, 2, and 3, and this will be our middle number. So this will be Q1. So now that we got our Q1 and Q3, so all we need to do is subtract them in this formula here. So Q3 will be 25, right, 975 minus the Q1, which is 15,801, and our interquartile range will be 10,174. Explain the significance of the IQR calculated in question 4.2.5a. Okay, all this means that we've basically calculated the center portion. What we are saying is we have the highest and the lowest. Okay, let's look at the QR, the positions of it. So what we are saying is that if we had the line like this, our Q3 will be there, the Q2 will be there, and Q1 will be there. So what we've done is we've worked out this center area here, and remember there's numbers going this way and numbers going this way, and there will be numbers from this part to this part. So this portion here is the center of all the numbers. So what we are saying is the IQR means that 50% of the staff's middle net salaries are within the range of, and we worked out this range to be 10,174, the difference between them. Remember, we subtract Q3 and Q1 and we got 10,174. That means 50% of the staff's net salaries, the middle section, are within 10,174 from each other. So that's basically the purpose or significance of the IQR calculated in question 4.2.5a.